An adorable 2-year-old boy named Dexter went for a trip to Walmart with his mother, Vyktoriah. He was wearing a pink headband. But what happened at the megastore next is disturbing. Fellow customers sneered at the boy, harassed his mom, and one even pulled off the headband. Katie wrote all about this, all about the encounter, on Huffington Post and Facebook, and the story has since gone viral.
I took both of my boys to Walmart earlier in the week. As we left the house, my son put on my headband, which is, a bit girly. It has a flower and rhinestones on it. And as we were basically making our way around the store, we had several people come up to us and tell us how cute he was, and he was waving to people, which is a new thing for him. And as we were kind of getting ready to be done with our shop, there was a man, two teenage girls came up and asked if it was a boy or a girl. And while I thought it was very obvious that he was a boy, they kind of made it seem like there was a bit of confusion. And when I said it was a boy, there was a rather large man that came up to us, very disturbed by the fact that he was a boy. He ripped off my son's headband, threw it in the cart, kind of playfully tapped him in the head and said, "You'll thank me someday." And when I got in his face, my son first of all stood up for himself by stomping his foot and telling the man to back off. But when I stood up to him, he got very angry, called my son a very nasty name, and then said that someday he would be shot for being a faggot.
He said, "Your son is a fucking faggot." Isn't that what he said?
He did. Yes, that's exactly what he said.
So, when you read your post, and I've read it just, moments ago, it really does stick with you, and it elicits kind of this visceral response. It's really horrifying considering he's just 2 years old. But this happens to so many people of so many different ages. I mean, how did you feel the moment he started touching your kid?
As a mom, as soon as someone comes up to your child, you immediately are on the defensive, and basically, whether they're being nice to him or not, immediately your hackles raise. The fact that he kind of smelled a bit like beer and cigarettes immediately kind of made me a little bit more wary. But I really didn't feel anything other than just a little bit leery of the guy until my son stood up for himself. Once he made it clear that he was feeling threatened by putting his hand out and telling the man no. That's when I stepped in and kind of threatened the guy like a mom will do. I told the man I'd cut his hands off if he didn't back off.
And, one thing that stuck with me was that no one helped you. You made that point 1 or 2 or 3 times even in the post. Were you surprised by that?
It wasn't the fact that no one helped me. The fact is it was over very quickly, and it was until the man shouted back at us that my son would be shot one day. It wasn't even very loud. I was more surprised that no one came up to me afterward because I was shaking and, I was comforting my son and trying to make sure that he was okay. And there were several people standing there, and I know that people saw it. So I was very surprised that no one offered any, help or, just support.